be followed. She's so funny. That's okay. Artists aren't practical. We don't want practical. Who wants practical? That's boring. I feel like I'm taking an oath or something. Yes, Mitski. Profound. Learn to listen to your body's signals. Sometimes you may think you're hungry when in fact you just need to masturbate. Okay, you are getting a bonus Mitski video. And I'm so excited about this. Is something I did not talk about. I did not tell anybody I was doing because honestly, I made the decision today, about 10 minutes ago, when I sat down to do Puberty 2. I had this inspiration in my head and I was like, I had 2 people suggest this article that I need to read. They said it would help me just get to know Mitski a little bit more. And I was like, I need to do this, and I need to do it before Puberty 2, because I know Puberty 2 is the one you guys are really excited about, and this came out before. This came out in 2014, and I need it. So I could either just read it myself, or I could do a reaction, and I thought, maybe this won't be the most popular video in the world, but there are people out there I know that want to see me dive this deep where we read a article together. And so if you are that person, I love you. And here we are. We're doing this. This is absolutely for you. Bonus content. Amazing. This is part of the deep dive journey and I'm excited. Hello. Welcome to Passion Dump of an Autist. My name is Val. If you love all things Mitski, at the moment, Mitski is my number one priority. I'm putting out a video every single week. And so if that sounds great to you, then make sure to like and comment and subscribe. I'm actually very excited. So it's making me a little weird, but that's okay. You get to meet the before Puberty 2 Val, and then you guys will go through the journey with me. Anyways, what else do I want to say? Oh yeah, I have a Patreon. I have a Patreon as well where all my uncut reactions go up at least a week ahead of time. So this week you're getting 2 videos up on Patreon. So if you're loving my content, it's a great way, first of all, to support my channel, support my mission, but it also, you get the content and you get it uncut and you get it way ahead of YouTube because I struggle on YouTube. There's a lot of good stuff out there. I'm doing a lot of artists too. And I think some artists in there are kind of adjacent to Mitski, the fan bases kind of meld somewhere in there. Not in all cases, because I do have a large, I don't know, I just love music and I love different types of music. They all do different things. Anyways, I digress. Let's go. Let's do it. This is supposed to be a quick video, Val. Let's do it. Okay, so we're literally just gonna read it and we're gonna talk about it as we go. It's gonna be a reaction to a article. I don't know if that's interesting, but like I said, if you're here, I love you. Okay, so 27 Bad Survival Tips for Artists by Mitski Miyawaki, and I'm probably ruining that, so I apologize.
Mitski Miyawaki.
Miyawaki. Okay, here we go. I'm excited for this because I am an artist myself. I was in Toronto, which is, one of the big cities here in Canada, that if you want to be an artist, that's where you go. Toronto, Vancouver, basically, those are the places. And so I actually packed up and moved to Toronto in my 20s to be an actor. And I did lots of acting stuff and I was doing well for myself, but there was a lot of mental health things that, kind of forced me to quit. And I still love, and that's why I'm doing this right now, because it allows me this creative output. But anyways, my point is, I still consider myself very much an artist. I still have big dreams. And I think this is going to be, I think this is going to hit me. So I'm excited, and I'm excited to bring you guys along. So here we go, a little intro here. Show the tips below to your therapist and they will tell you it's an alarmingly unhealthy list of suggestions that shouldn't be followed. She's so funny. Oh, she's so funny. I love her. Okay, you will reply, yes, you agree. It's by a young artist woman who applied her DIY ethos to maintaining her mental health when she should have seen a therapist herself. So by no means is the advice below correct with a capital C. In truth, it's quite incorrect with a capital not PC. I love it. And it's not even very practical. That's okay. Artists aren't practical. We don't want practical. Who wants practical? That's boring. But if you are a strong-willed artist, girl, as I, or if you've always seemed to get into trouble, as I, yes, or I feel like I'm I'm taking an oath or something. Yes, Mitski. Sorry, this is fun. Or if you've often found yourself lovesick, yes, for no one in particular as I, then perhaps the following will help you cope with the loneliness of being who you are. Insert the poem Val wrote a week ago about being in an elevator and being alone. It's not good. I don't know if it's up on YouTube. If it's not, I should put it up, but it might be. It might be up on YouTube. If not, it's on my Instagram and TikTok. But I mean, we can say I relate, okay? I then perhaps the following will help you cope with the loneliness of being who you are. It's so lonely. Or alternatively, encourage you to bask in that loneliness and then laugh in its stupid face. I love her. I had a moment there when I was like, oh my God, I'm reading, but I'm like, I keep stopping to react. And I'm like, Val, this is a reaction video. React. If they want to read the freaking thing, then they can read the thing. See, I'm fighting that people pleasing. We're fighting it. We're letting her go. I do like to mention it when it comes up though, because, you know, I'm in the process. We're in a process. You guys get to see the process. Anyways, 27 of them. Number 1, retire from being someone's idol. Get hurt, get ugly, fuck up in front of everyone, fight to be seen as a real person. And that she has done. And that's what gets me so emotional when I watch her. That is the authenticity that I freaking love about her. Okay. Number 2, in fact, get into fights. Well, love her. In fact, get into fights while you are still young and malleable. It makes you less nervous of getting beaten in the future, less nervous of pissing people off, more willing to take a chance. Again, I don't give healthy advice. I think that's healthy in some ways. I think that's part of my issue and part of my journey personally is that I've been so afraid. It's hilarious that I started talking about people pleasing right before I started reading this, because that's been my problem as an artist is I care too much what people think. And I'm starting to let that go. I'm starting to not give a shit, but it's taken me almost 40 years to get there. Who cares? Whatever. Sometimes it takes 40 years, but we're getting there and we're doing it. And I think that's wonderful advice. Number 3. This is chaotic. Also, every teenager should party. It's important to know sad, empty feelings before you go out into the world. Absolutely. Absolutely. That I did do. That I did. I did a lot of partying. I did a lot of partying in high school, a lot of rebelling, and I don't regret a thing, really. I mean, I got myself into some bad situations that really fucked me up with a lot of trauma. I laugh. This is what happens though. You laugh in the face of danger sometimes because what else do you do? But I am the woman I am because of those things. So I'm not saying put yourself in, don't listen to me either. Clearly I have horrible advice too. But honestly, all these things, these experiences that happened to me, they really did shape me into the woman I am. And I love the woman I am. So I get it, but also be safe. Okay, anyway, so if you're a teenager, don't listen to me, please. Number 4. Sometimes, obviously, getting into fights is dangerous. Okay, yes. There are people who are used to the sound of bones breaking, and when you witness them, for example, swing a wooden bat at someone with such lack of restraint, you think they must either be dangerously stupid or have survived real pain themselves, enough to be prepared to inflict it in return. It will be important to witness this because you will realize that this is the world in which you don't belong, which goes deeper than you had imagined, and you will leave it behind. Profound, but also it's dangerous. But I think that just like it just kind of makes me think of kind of what I was already talking about with, just accepting the things that have happened to you, the horrible things that happened to you as lessons. I really do believe this life has so many lessons to give you, and so many horrible things. I'm not saying, oh my God, there's so many horrible things that happen to people that shouldn't happen to people. And I'm not trying to, say that. I get so caught up in the like everything happens for a reason, because that's such a shitty thing to say to, I don't know. I get a lot of empathy as well, and so it there's a balance. There's a middle ground to that. To not believing anything at all, and to, believing literally everything happens for a reason and it's a lesson. There's a middle ground in there, I believe. But yes, I do think it's important to take what happens to you and, turn it into something that allows you to grow as a person. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because I also think it's annoying sometimes because there's just like there's literal tragedies happening in the world that people have no control over, and you're telling me that that was their lesson? I don't know. I think that's bullshit too. So again, middle ground, balance. Wow, I'm getting into it. Okay, cool. This is very inspiring. Number 5. This is also when you will decide to become gentle and stop fighting. By this time, you will have learned more than you may have wanted about. So this is like also metaphorical. I understand that. Or this is how I'm taking it, because I think I'm in the point of my life where I've just been fighting to survive. And I'm at the point in my life where I'm just ready to kind of surrender. And like she says, stop fighting. And I actually just mean that metaphorical, like fighting tooth and nail for everything, trying to control everything. And you can't. You can't control everything. Or at least that's my advice. That's my take on this. Let's see what she says. By this time, you will have learned more than you may have wanted about how your words and your body can be weapons, and what is left of you will simply want to live gently. This is when you will become a real adult. Yep, absolutely. Number 6. But in the meantime, you're still a kid. Now, when you started having sex, you started to forget that you're a kid, or rather, you started to forget how to think like a kid. Maybe because kids aren't supposed to have sex. So you thought, okay, I'm having sex now, so I must be an adult. But don't let sex or boys you love make you forget your childish cunning. Yes, please. Kids are smaller and weaker, so they get crafty instead. They've always been cheaters. They've always played dirty. Defending yourself as a girl in a world built for men requires the same kind of cleverness of a dirt-faced kid. Stop trying to fight by men's rules. Most rules in our world were made by people who were or are already in power, so they often do not work in your favor if you're not in power. Yeah. 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 Absolutely. That is brilliant advice. Basically just kind of knowing your limitations, but also knowing your power and, what you can use to your advantage, and not letting people, suppress that in you. That's beautiful. Yes, and there is something so beautiful about coming back to some of that kind of beginner mindset that a child has, and using that to your advantage, because we lose something when we get so programmed in this world. We lose something. We lose that. And yes, you want to grow into this wise, amazing person, but you don't need to lose all that, all those parts of yourself. Some of them are amazing and you can hold on to and you can utilize when you want to. I love that. Okay. Number 7, men who slowly take a sip of their drink or puff of their smoke mid-sentence are enjoying their privilege too much. Interrupt them mid-sip or puff, or walk away entirely. Don't give them that time. I love her. I love her. Yep. Absolutely. Men turn to pouting boys when they discover the word love and find they cannot use it. And a pouting boy who can't get what he wants is straight up dangerous when he is in the body of a man. I know this whole time I've been encouraging you to fight, but if you encounter a man who is a boy with man strength, forget what I said, run. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I would like to say if these things that she's talking about, men, if they're triggering you, that really just means that maybe there are things that you need to look at inside yourself. And I say this with kindness, I really do. But if some of these things are triggering you, it probably means that maybe there are things that you could look at in yourself. Because when you're not maybe acting this way, you would just see it. You'd be like, yeah, I see, men do that all the time, whether you're a man or not. And you'd be like, yeah, totally. Good advice. That's just my opinion. Again, with kindness, I really do mean that. Because I do know that, and this is not me saying that you're a bad person, by the way. It's just like we all have things that, trigger us and make us look at ourselves in the mirror all the time. All the time for me. Yeah, I'm just I love that she's so brave to say these things, because that's another thing that I just struggle with myself, to be honest. But I'm getting there. But so true, right? Like, and that's, she's obviously talking about the men who are afraid to look at themselves and afraid and kind of just have this privilege that they can't even acknowledge, but they do, and have the emotional intelligence of a child, but with man strength, because they still are bigger and stronger physically. Those are the ones that you really need to be afraid of. And unfortunately there are a lot of men out there like that. Are there men that give a shit? Yes, there are. There absolutely are. But unfortunately, there's more men that don't, and that, are doing this. And, there's a myriad of reasons why, the way this society is operated, but, we do also have to take accountability for our own shit, even if we're brought up in this shitty society. That's my thing on that. Okay, let's keep going. This is going to take forever. Are we on 9? Yes, we are. For a woman, to love a man usually means to wait. I won't tell you to love as men do instead, because men can love horribly, but don't wait. For a woman, to love a man usually means to wait. Yeah. To what? Like, wait for him to be the kind of man. Yeah. It does seem like there's a lot of waiting. Oh, shit. Yeah. But don't wait. Don't wait. Okay, I won't. I'm done. Yeah, sorry, something just clicked in there. Yeah, I've been waiting for a lot of men that like I saw potential in, and it's beautiful. I'm glad I'm so empathetic, and I'm glad I can like see people's soul and like see who they can be. I think that's beautiful, but also I'm done. I'm done waiting. I'm done waiting. If you cannot meet me where I am, sorry. Please do. Please come find me when you do, but I'm not waiting anymore. Beautiful. I needed to hear this, guys. Number 10, and you can love women. I've loved women. Maybe you've always identified, oh God. Okay. So, do I want to say this on YouTube? Yeah, who cares? Who cares? I'm so done not being myself. Okay, so recently, Mitski has actually, I don't know if you saw my last video, but I made a comment about having a girl crush on Mitski, and that wasn't actually a joke. I think I've actually realized that I'm not as straight as I have been pretending I am, and I don't want to put a label on it, because it's so I don't know what's going on, but it just made me realize that I'm definitely you know, they say that like there's the Kinsey scale, and I'm definitely not as, like I said, straight as I kind of have been pretending to myself to be. And I definitely do love men, and that hasn't changed, but I think anyways, this is not me like, I don't know what this is. This is me just being honest and telling you that I'm confused. And it's not just from Mitski, it's just it like she sparked that. It's been something I've thought about, but also it hasn't been relevant, because if you've been on my journey, you know that, you know, I've talked about just being a serial dater, and so I've been in these like long-term relationships with men for most of my life, with very short periods of being single, and I am a very devoted partner. So when I'm in a partnership, I'm not thinking about other people, men or women. This is the first time in my life I've been single for a longer period of time, and so I guess that's what's happening is I'm here and I'm by myself, and so I have given myself the time and space to really figure out who the fuck I am. And it's been really beautiful, but really confusing. And so just before we get into her talking about this, yeah, I needed to hear this. And again, I haven't come to a conclusion. There's no label. I mean, if I could guess, it's probably something, but I don't know because I've never been with a woman. So I don't know. It's probably something like bi or pan, to be honest. But again, I don't really want to. I don't know, because I don't know. I don't know. But I'm being honest because this is what I want to do on my channel, and you get to see the journey, the process of the journey. You don't get to see necessarily the end product where I've done all the figuring out. No, I want to take you on the journey of me figuring everything out. Even if it has to do with sexuality, I had no idea that this would even be a thing to come up, be a thing that I would talk about on my channel, but here we go. So that's all I'm going to say on that, because like I said, I haven't done enough processing of it to talk any more about it, but it's just really interesting to now be reading this because it's what I needed to hear. Okay. Number 10, and you can love women. I've loved women. Maybe you've always identified as straight, but that doesn't mean you're not allowed to love women. Like if you did, you'd have to declare something permanently. You can't choose your sexual orientation, but your sexuality can be fluid. Thank you. I guess this is straying for the topic of survival for women artists, and you might be confidently straight or openly gay or many of the other things you can be, so this tip might not even apply to you. Oh, it applies to me. Thank you. But it's fucked me up before, so I'm just putting it out there in case it's fucking you up right now. I told you I needed to read this. This I did not expect to do this reaction, but I had a feeling that I needed to do this reaction and I needed to share it with you guys. So here we go. Okay, number 11. On the topic of other women, don't be so hard on freshman girls. You too once dressed up and put makeup on for a day that ends after 10:30 a.m. class. Yeah. Yep. Okay, number 12. My mother is going to cry if and when she reads this, but sometimes you have to do things that will make your mother cry. Yep. Yep. You have to do it for you. Okay. 13. Children can only fundamentally get the attention of adults by laughing or crying. America functions in a similar way, where it only wants to see fun things or exciting things or otherwise some kind of shocking event in social media, in art, in the news, in real life. So why not be a real American and cry in front of everyone in the middle of the classroom? Make them watch you cry. Well, that I don't have a problem with. That I don't. Okay, I love that. 14. Remember how you used to play when you were younger and dumber, how all the games were simple and had no real meaning. Now remember that time you blasted fireworks with your friends, how the loud noises excited you, and how once you heard them, you wanted to hear them again and again. Your friends who were scared of the loudness ran away from it, but you stayed there transfixed, standing too close to it, and you saw it through until it was over. If anyone tells you that what you're about to do is risky or scary, tell them, then be scared and run away. And see it through. Yeah. I needed to hear those words today. I'm not going to get into it. I've already gotten personal, but this one I need to keep to myself because sometimes you need to keep things to yourself. And so this particular one I'm going to keep to myself, but I will tell you, I'm going through some shit personally that is really scary. It's really scary and really risky. And that's why I'm keeping it for myself. I need to protect myself. But I needed to hear those words. It's also why I've been hermiting, because it's hard for me to talk to other people about what I'm going through, because I know that most people won't get it. And will just tell me that I don't know what they'll say. I'm not even going to put it out there. Anyways, moving on. Number 15. Also, have you ever listened to music so loud that you smelled blood? Don't do that again. Protect your ears with earplugs. Shit. I do it every time. I do that. Okay, I need to stop doing that. But I love it. I love it like pounding in my ears. That I need to take that advice. Okay, number 16. I am contradicting myself now, but if you were one of the friends who were afraid and ran, that's all right too. Actually, that's better. Being afraid means you care. Yeah. You just do you, what feels right, how you need to protect yourself. But understand that other people, they're gonna look and they're gonna stay there in the face of danger. And that's also their right to do it as well. Number 17. I was never afraid until I was about 19 and found I could make music. Until then, I wasn't afraid of adults or walking streets alone in foreign countries. I lived abroad as a kid, of terrorists and kidnap, of guns, of drugs and people. When I lost my virginity to rape by a drug dealer, I didn't become afraid. I became his girlfriend. When I left school for a year after 10th grade and worked as a waitress, I lied about my age, stole groceries and clothes for that whole year, and overall broke many laws and got caught several times, but it never made me afraid. I am not glorifying any of this. In fact, it's all very sad, because now that I'm afraid of all of the above, I realize it's because I finally have things I care about, including myself, that I fear of hurting or losing. It is important and good to be afraid. It means you care, and people who say or act like they don't care are sad. I needed to hear that one too, because it is okay. I think life is about balance, and I think, sorry, that was a lot to process. She's amazing for putting this out. Okay. Sorry, I needed a second there. Yeah, I was just gonna say balance, because I think sometimes I almost get upset at myself for being afraid of certain things, because I'm like, into, trying to manifest certain things, and it's like, you gotta hold this vibration and all that bullshit. It's not bullshit, but it is. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, you can also just, that's the thing. It's like, it's okay. It is okay to be afraid, but you can let those emotions flow through you. Fucking get up and do it anyway. I think it's okay to feel afraid, but it's also okay to move through that fear and do it anyway. And it's also okay if you don't want to, because you want to protect yourself. That's where you are, and there's nothing wrong with that either. Only you know what's right for you. Only you know. Not your mom, not your dad, not your friend, not your partner. they love you and they're going to give the advice that, they think is the best, of course. Sometimes, most of the time, you hope. But when it comes down to it, only you know what's right for you. Anyways, number 18, being afraid is also the essence of survival. When you're always around people, you tend to forget. But separate yourself for a while and remember how being alone is scary and feel how that fear sharpens you. Fear makes you stronger and perhaps more dangerous, as with dogs. Use that. Yeah. Okay, well, that's what we're doing now. I guess I am alone. Number 19. This is fascinating. By the way, have you been alone lately? Yep, I have. Hanging out with people is fun and comforting, but do you remember how to be on your own? I do, and I I do, Mitski. I mean, not, for a while there I wasn't, but this is in this time of my life. I have been alone for a while. I am alone. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do right now, and I'm learning a lot of lessons because of it. But yes, I am very excited to get back out into the world and not be so alone and hermity. But right now it is teaching me a lot of lessons because, like I said, I did, kind of go from partner to partner for most of my life. I think that's a survival strategy, really, if I think about it. Okay. Number 20, if you don't feel an urge to move, to go out and grab something, it may be because everything is within your reach. When I was 14 or 15, I starved myself until I was skin and bone, and though I still haven't quite figured out why, I think it's because I needed to remember hunger to awaken that drive. Wow. If you don't feel an urge to move, to go out and grab something, it may be because everything is within your reach. Wow, that's really interesting. Okay. That I'm going to have to think on and process. Okay. 21. But I'm not telling you to fucking starve yourself. Eat. You need the strength to do what you're here to do. If you don't have the strength to hold on to it, they will take it away from you. And then you'll have to keep living, but without that thing you're living for. Yep. 22. And you don't want to die, dummy. That's why you get stronger and smarter. That's why you endure. Yep. 23. In those moments when you think about actually dying today, and think about your body being dead tomorrow morning, it's really scary. It's scary because if you think about it enough, you'll start thinking, no, I don't want that, and desperately look around for something to stop you from going there, from dying. But there's nothing of the sort. That's the scariest part, when you realize there is nothing really stopping you. Yep. 24. They say that corpses with their eyes open died in pain. Doesn't that feel like it means something? Yeah, there's a lot to process here. My brain is just like, so sorry. We're going to just respect the words and keep going. 25. When I say hold on to it earlier, I didn't mean you hold on to that brilliant piece you made a few years ago or last month or yesterday. Sure, you can make something really nice and you can be proud of it, but once it's done, you have to let it go. People have been making nice things way before you were born. They're making nice things as you read this, and they'll continue to make nice things long after you die. So don't hold on to your one or two nice things and feel contented. That's not the point. The point is not to make something that people think is good, or to make something that people think is so good that it makes you famous, or even to make something that makes you so famous that people remember you after you die. It's not about making a shitload of money and living comfortably, nor is it about the glory of dying poor and sick for the sake of your art. It is, in my opinion, about the work. Being an artist. Yeah. Being an artist is about putting your head down and doing the work, not because it'll bear fruit to any rewards, and maybe not even if it fulfills you in any way, but because that is simply what you do as an artist. You keep making things. That's why I think anyway, and if any of you find me straying from my own rules, slap me and tell me to get back to work. That's beautiful. Yeah, I need to read that every day. 26. Last thing on the topic of eating, learn to listen to your body's signals. Sometimes you may think you're hungry when in fact you just need to masturbate. Absolutely. Absolutely. 27. Now, if you have a bra on, take it off for a moment and listen to me. Okay, well, I'm not going to take off my bra on YouTube, but usually it's the first thing that, when I relax. Sing or shout or scream or simply speak, but do it from the bottom of your stomach. Vomit out your voice before you have time to think. This is what they really mean by sing from your belly. Yes. And I've told you, she's like that. That is what I felt from the very beginning. That's why she's so powerful. It's not a technique. She really is just singing from her true, like, soul's essence. I felt that. You will die one day sooner than you imagine, and it is incredibly sad, so scream about it. That was amazing. That was amazing. And I knew I needed to read this. And that absolutely did give me more insight into who she is as a person, some of the things that she has graciously allowed us in on. That was everything. And I'm happy that it kind of made me want to share certain things that I'm going through in my life as well, because that's what I want to do as well. That's my quest, is to live as authentically as possible. And I think about that every day and I try my best, and it's not perfect. But I think, and that's beautiful, because that was like the first thing that she said, right? Get hurt, get ugly, fuck up in front of everyone, fight to be seen as a real person. That's kind of how I feel. That's why I want my platform to be like me sharing my journey, not I'm already here. I want to share the messy process of really never getting to where you want to go, because your desires and things always are constantly changing. But to see someone have dreams but also really accept and love where they are now, because that is true. I do have big dreams, but I also really love what I'm doing in my life right now, even though certain things are scary and feel risky. I love what I'm doing here. So, anyways, we're going to go on to puberty 2 now. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day and week. And I love you if you stayed for this whole thing, because I have no idea how this is going to go do on YouTube. I have no idea. But who fucking cares, right? I felt called to do it and I did it. So, anyways, I love you and have a good one.